Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Robin, issue number 1 from the Infinite Frontier. I'm just going to come straight out and say that while there were a lot of things that I really liked about this comic book, every single thing that I liked had something that I strongly disliked. And it just is what it is. Let's talk about who made the comic book, and then we'll start going on from there. Versus the World is the name of this issue. Joshua Williamson on writing. Gleb Melnikov does the art and the cover and the variant cover. There's 3 other variant covers out there, and ALW's Troy Bateri does the art. Does the letters. So Gleb Melnikov, he's really great at every single thing that he draws in here, whether it's men or backgrounds or foregrounds or objects or costumes or tattoos or anything that he draws is really great. Except he does have a weakness. His kryptonite is drawing women. I haven't drawn in a really long time, but yeah, I had a hard time drawing women also. It is what it is. Everybody's got a weakness. Everybody's got a weakness, including in their art or in their writing or whatever. And, Gleb, fantastic artist, but women is something that he's got to work on. And I'm saying it. If all women were in this comic book, all men were in this comic book, it would be a freaking amazing comic book that I would find 0 flaws with, except for the fact that there wouldn't be any women. Anyway, as far as the writing is concerned, I liked the idea that no panels were really wasted in this. We had a preview for Robin, what it was going to be about in previous issues of other comics, and none of those pages were used. None of those panels were used in this comic book. Maybe they'll be used later. I kind of hope that they're not. But it was like you either caught them or you didn't. We're not going to rehash them in here. This is not going to be a comic book, which is a bunch of piecemealed other stuff that we'd shown before, and we're just going to present it all at once here. No, this is an entirely different story that is based off of some of those previous stuff that you saw before, but all new stuff in this comic book. Thank you, Joshua Williamson. You are an upper echelon, higher craftsman of your art. I absolutely loved the idea of that. Then I get to the double page spread 3 pages in. The first character who Damien, in his brand new costume, which by the way, didn't he say I'm not going to wear the R anymore because it's akin to slavery? Didn't he say something to that effect? And he's wearing an R in even on the cover. Like, dude, what? Anyway, Damien has to fight against King Snake. Now, I know there's a lot of people who don't like King Snake and like, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And he wasn't made much better when they made him the father of Bane. You know what I'm saying? But look, at the end of the day, I like the original Robin series with Tim Drake earning his wings, having to go out there, Batman saying, go do this on your own. And if you live, awesome. If you don't, well, I still got your back. But yeah, go out and do your thing. I loved that final battle against King Snake, whistling, more whistling. I loved that. I thought it was great. When I was a kid, when I was 14 years old, 15 years old, and I was reading that, I'm like, damn, this is good. And I like the idea that Tim Drake had to earn his keep, so to speak. You want those wings? Here you go. Here's the costume. Come back in it or be buried in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, either way. Like, that's just the way it's got to be. I love that. It was a great concept. Later on, Batman meets up with King Snake and he just trounces him like he's not even a thing. And I hated that idea. I really did. But whatever. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Damien just one-shots the guy in this, and I'm like, bro. So now King Snake, he's one of those characters I have to just look at like Bane, like Sabretooth, like Doomsday, like Juggernaut, like Taskmaster. Another one of these characters who's just, yep. He's supposed to be really cool. Like, for instance, Spider-Man has a hard time fighting against frickin' Rhino, right? And it's believable. But then Misty Knight, in her 4-issue or 6-issue limited series, the very first opponent she has to face is Rhino, and she just one-shots him with a judo flip. And it's like, that doesn't make me think any more highly of her. It makes me think less of Spider-Man, because it's the same Rhino. It's the same Alexei, and he got his butt handed to him by Misty Knight in a one-shot, and yet I'm supposed to believe that Spider-Man had to let Silver Sable die because it's Rhino. It's not going to be an easy fight, and I've got to go and stop Dr. Octopus. You know what I'm saying? Bro, there's nothing there. It's like, dude, why don't you just one-shot him really quick the way that Misty Knight did? You know what I'm saying? And you can argue, I know there's people who are going to try and argue, oh, she's a better hand-to-hand combatant. Well, if that's the case, then how come he learned a martial art that only he can practice by studying it or by practicing it with Shang-Chi, the greatest martial artist in the entire Marvel universe, and he made Spider Fu, or whatever the hell it's called, where he can utilize his spider sense in his martial art. Sorry, here's a guy who is a trained fighter, and sorry, no, I'm not buying it. I'm simply not buying it. She learned from Iron Fist, who is, with all due respect, inferior to Shang-Chi. So no, I'm not buying it. Why do we even bring up Iron Fist and Shang-Chi? Because the other characters in here, these young kids who I've never heard of before, they are touting their clout because in order for them to get into this tournament, mind you, this tournament that happens once every 100 years, a kumite that happens once every 100 years. So if I'm born the day after that tournament, then in order for me to be in that tournament, then I would have to apply when I'm 100 years old and a day. Do you see the illogical? This is one of those things where you didn't think a thought all the way through to its logical conclusion. It's a throwaway idea. You have a throwaway idea, it's going to be a throwaway concept, and the comic book is going to feel that much more throwaway. Oh, wait, there's more. And I'm really disappointed because I highly respect Joshua Williamson. Again, his Flash run, dude, one of the best runs of the Flash ever. All right, it's not equal to Mark Waid. That's not the point. But it was really, really good. I loved his Flash Rebirth. It was fantastic. And I know he loves this character of Damian Wayne, or at least that's what he says, but I'm just not seeing it. I'm really not. The question is, how many other characters does he love? He apparently doesn't love Richard Dragon and Bronze Tiger, because these new characters are just like, oh yeah, I had to defeat these guys. And with Richard Dragon, like, I only had to defeat Richard Dragon. Now, I know in headcanon, we can state, oh, well, they were just being sarcastic, or they were being this. That's not the way I read it. I understand that. But we can only take things the way that they're presented. That's just the way that it is. Okay? If you pick a fight with somebody, that person could be a regular person who's got an equal chance of winning or losing the fight as you, or it could be a cancer patient who you accidentally kill and you go to jail because you killed somebody. And no judge wants to hear, oh, you didn't realize the person had cancer, but you knew you got into a fight, right? The exact same way that if you're a young kid and you don't know who Mike Tyson is and you just accidentally picked a fight with Mike Tyson, when you get your head bashed in and your mommy is trying to, or your wife or whatever, is trying to argue, my son has permanent brain damage because Mike Tyson punched him. No, your son has permanent brain damage because he picked a fight with Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson responded. Because just like you don't know if it's a cancer patient, you don't know if this is Mike Tyson. People don't usually pass out resumes before a fight. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the superior fighter is the guy, like, who wants to see a brand new character who comes out? I've got this beautiful Neil Adams Superman versus Muhammad Ali thing here. Who wants to hear somebody just come out and be like, I got my fighting credentials by beating Muhammad Ali. Yeah. People will be like, that's just disrespectful. Well, for us comic book fans, and that's why it bothers me and it makes me question what Joshua Williams is trying to do here. If you're a comic book fan, isn't Richard Dragon and Bronze Tiger one of those untouchable kind of characters where you don't just punk out? I understand that he did it to King Snake in here. I can forgive that. It was annoying, but I can forgive it. But something like this where it's just like, yeah, I just defeated these guys in order to get into this tournament. And meanwhile, I'd be surprised if they reached puberty. Some of these kids, come on, man. And they're all young kids. Every single one of them are young kids, which is like, dude, listen, Marvel Comics has kind of earned them pushing out new characters. There's a new Spider-Man called Miles Morales and a whole bunch of other new Spider characters in the Spider-Verses, but Peter Parker is still here. So you can have a billion, and we practically do, but you can have a billion different Spider characters. Nobody cares. You either like them or you don't. You buy them or you don't. You read them or you don't. Because Peter Parker is still there. There's nothing to complain about. You can say, I don't like Miles Morales, and you can give your reason for it. After that, there's no reason, and nobody does. Nobody makes the complaint, I don't like it because of this or that. Yeah. Nobody ever does that. Not anymore, at least. Because Peter Parker is still out there. Peter Parker is still Spider-Man. So there's nothing to complain about. It's just another book of another character. You want to call him a legacy ripoff or whatever. It doesn't matter. You just simply don't buy him. We vote for things with our are dollars. It's just the way that it works. The ultimate ballot box is not coming out once every 4 years or so. No, the ultimate ballot box is our cash register, and every business has one, for the most part, right? Right. At the end of the day, here's just these new characters who come up, and this flatline character who is not well thought out at all. The third martial art that I ever learned in my life was Bushidokai. And this was in Red Bank, New Jersey. Bushidokai is a style that goes back to feudal Japan, when one of the samurai, or any of the bushai, or any of the other like militiamen, soldiers, or non-soldiers, went out to defend the shores of Japan, which were constantly under bombardment and invasion from other Asian countries. And later on, the white countries also. These feudal Japan soldiers, these samurai, sometimes their swords would break, and every weapon that they had on them, be it a naginata, be it their daiku, whatever they were using, sometimes they would lose it, it would break, it would whatever, and they would have to fight barehanded, even against an opponent who was either barehanded or had a weapon themselves. Bushidokai was born on those same battlefields, all of those same battlefields, because a samurai who made it back, a soldier who made it back to talk to his fellows while they're getting drunk off of rice wine or whatever they're doing, they would talk about how they were able to do this, because they were trained to use the sword and trained to use many other weapons. They were not trained to use their hands until Bushidokai came along, where they trained each other. Stuff born on the battlefield. And you know who brought these martial arts and these maneuvers to each other? The ones who lived. This is thinking a thought all the way through to its logical conclusion. For Joshua Williamson to say that this character Flatline is awesome because, while Damien says, I learned from the greatest martial artist who ever lived, she says, I've learned from the greatest martial artist who ever died. It's a statement that if you don't think it through, if you don't even think about it, it sounds, to me, it still sounds stupid. But God forbid you put any thought into it whatsoever. So let me get this straight. You and I get into a fight, and I kill you. I teach my son this maneuver that I use to kill you. Your son learns what you did to lose. If your son and my son fight, my son's probably kicking your ass also. Because it's not learning from the mistakes. She didn't even say I'm learning from the mistakes. And you could, again, apply headcanon to anything that you want. But it doesn't make sense. The losers of any battle, it's not even learning from the mistakes of these. No, sorry. Any kind of thought. I'm even trying to explain this, and it doesn't make sense because it's a dumb concept. Think a thought through to its logical conclusion. If you have all these throwaway concepts, and this is not the first, it's not even the second. You have all these throwaway concepts in a comic book, then the comic book becomes throwaway. And that's pretty much how I feel about this comic book. The spoiler, here comes the spoiler. Okay, done. The spoiler for this comic book is that Robin dies at the end. Cute. So maybe this is supposed to be some kind of a redemption thing for him because he beats up, all these people, but then he gets beaten by this little kid who, it's dumb. The whole thing is dumb. Gets his heart. Somehow this person punches right through his heart and right through his chest, makes a full cavity through his chest and like a see-through, and pulls out his heart, and this character is dead now. Yeah, this is dumb. This was dumb. This was a dumb ending. That was a dumb character. All these new characters are dumb. They haven't earned anything. There's no backstory for these characters, but the first thing before we even know the names of these characters, we still don't know the names of a lot of these characters, but that's the one who beat Richard Dragon. That's the one who beat Bronze Tiger. Bro, at some point, I'm referring back to Tom King's Batman comics, where he had Black Cat completely defy the laws of physics and inertia specifically. 3 flashes coming running at her, and she is apparently faster than all 3 flashes, or at least her kicks are, because she just boom, 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 takes all three of them out with like three quick little Chuck Norris-like sidekicks. And obviously her kicks must be faster than the Flash's because they're the ones moving. That's inertia. All this inertia coming at you, the argument of the immovable object versus the irresistible force. The irresistible force wins every single time easily. It's the reason why like vinyl records have been found stuck into tree trunks, thick ass tree trunks after a hurricane or a tornado, just a tornado even, because the force of this record flying at it, boom, and any object whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Just, bro, it's called inertia. So obviously, by using the laws of inertia, her kicks were faster than the running speed of the Flashes from a distance. Sure, and she one-shot all three of them within 0.3 seconds of each other. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is the kind of nonsense that... And Batman has a hard time defeating Bane, but she easily one-shots him twice. And she's a well-established character. And we read this, and I think every single one of us are just like, yeah, that's... Even the nicest of us is like, yeah, that was a little bit unbelievable. I still liked his run, but that was just really unbelievable. He obviously really likes Catwoman. Let's just put it that way. Sorry, this is just punking out characters for the sake of making your character look good. And all that happens is that the reader walks away feeling it's unbelievable. Like I said, brand new characters in this book. I don't know who they are, but they're kids who are touting clout about having defeated the greatest martial artists in comics. I understand that nobody's using Richard Dragon. That's the fault of DC. You don't turn around and just talk about, yeah, we punked him out. Like, that's just sad. It's really sad. When you look at stuff like this, these new covers, think about it. This is a Marvel cover. I think this is by Livorno. This is Marvel taking the 25th anniversary of their comics, the original cover, and then they're reapplying it today. And this is not the first time that they've rehashed this. They take the stuff that was cool from the past and they use it nowadays. You can do that, but like aside from the New Mutants over here and Black Cat, like right up here, you don't, like, all these are new characters who most of us have never even heard of before, right? I don't think anybody can name, I don't think any regular reader, as opposed to like C.B. Cebulski or even better, Tom Brevoort, you know what I'm saying, can go through and name every single one of these characters, right? I don't think that anybody can. I certainly can't. But these are the characters that they're putting out, and it's a very cheap way, and I'm not mad at it, but it's a very cheap way of saying, hey, look, here's the new Marvel, here's these characters. Fortunately, the other characters are still there. In this particular case, we haven't seen hide nor hair of Richard Dragon, Bronze Tiger, all these really cool characters, except like Bronze Tiger being addicted to Venom and being an absolute punk, right? I'm sorry. DC hasn't earned this. Marvel's barely earned this, but DC sure as hell hasn't. And this is just another reason why I have fought so hard against the idea of Infinite Frontier and all of the nonsense they're doing with their constant reboots and their constant disparity of characters that are supposed to be genuine threats, but lazy ass writing just makes it so that they're like, I'm going to make my character look cool by not even saying the name of this person, but saying the name of the person they defeated, and it's the greatest fighter. Like, even Batman would have a hard time fighting Richard Dragon, because Richard Dragon's the Shang-Chi of the DC universe. But this kid beats him. I'm sorry. Think a thought through to its logical conclusion before you write a comic book. Maybe I'll actually believe the characters. I'm actually a lot easier than I'm coming off as. But I'm not stupid. That's the thing about it. Don't insult our intelligence. Don't insult us by just, whoa, this new character. What does this character look like in here? Can I find it fairly quickly? Yeah, these morons. Just talk about, oh yeah, I defeated this person and I defeated that person. Yeah, but I don't even know their names. Like, what are their freaking names? Bronze Tiger. Did you cheat? Only way to beat him, but it still got me the marker. Still let me win the fight. Oh, the Secret Society paid off Shiva, so I only had to fight Richard Dragon to earn my spot. Dude, these are teenagers. I don't even know their damn names. And you're going to have them, they defeated these people? That is not the way to give clout to somebody. Talk is cheap. Anybody who's ever been in an actual fist fight, even if they've lost a fist fight, like Flatline learned from all the losers, even if they've lost a fist fight, bro, talk is cheap. We have no idea who these characters are, but you just right away throw at us, ooh, they defeated such and such. What are we supposed to do? Oh, I can't wait to read about this brand new character that has no freaking history whatsoever, and I can't wait. Guys, whole bunch of first appearances of throwaway characters. That's what this is. And that's all that this is ever going to be. It's going to be a bunch of speculators who don't read. See, if you're a speculator who reads comics, you know that this is nonsense. But if you're a speculator who doesn't actually read the comics and you just say, oh, first appearance of characters there, got to buy a whole bunch, you wasted your money. And it's not a lot of money. You'll make your money back many other ways with many other comic books that you sell. But at the end of the day, and if you're a flipper, hey, you'll make money off the speculators. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, nah, man, this is an absolute throwaway comic book. This was, with all due respect, this was terribly written from someone who I respect a lot. I don't understand this. I really don't understand the purpose of this book. This did nothing to elevate anyone in this comic book. I walk away being less interested in Damian Wayne, who's the main character in here, and less interested in every other character who's in this book. This was terrible. This was terrible. And I'm out. Like the video, watch an ad. I'll talk to you guys later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.